folks, welcome to Week in Review. This is a show in which we tell you all different reviews we did last week, give you short summaries of them, and then you can, if you want to, just click the links in the description and find the full review of that game. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, Z Garcia here. Last week we put out a new board game blender, a real fun episode, go check that out. And I reviewed 3 games, 3 good games. It's a good week. I reviewed Harvest Dice. This is a small roll and write game with a farming theme. It's a really attractive, cute package. It works well. My main concern with it was that it didn't really bring anything that felt new to the roll and write genre. It's not as light and quick and as much a burst of fun as some of the ones on that side of the scale, but it's not as thinky and involved as some of the ones on the higher end of the scale. So I worry about it getting lost in the middle a little bit, but it is a well-done game. It has been captivating. I think it scales pretty well, and I've enjoyed it. It's one that I would certainly recommend if you enjoy the farming theme, the cutesy theme, and you enjoy roll and writes. I reviewed a ladder climbing game called Ladder 29, coming out from Green Couch Games, and this one is some of the best stuff they've done. It's a very attractive game, love the artwork in it, and it is a game that feels both classic, like a classic ladder climbing game. Think of a Tichu or something like that. But it's simpler than that while still having a nice couple of twists. I think it would be a really good family game if you enjoy sitting around the table and playing some cards. Ladder 29 is a great fit for that. And then lastly, I reviewed Azul, coming out from Plan B Games. This is a tile drafting, sort of pattern building kind of game with some stunning components, really gorgeous artwork. And if you know anything about Plan B Games, you know they excel at gorgeous components and artwork. And on top of that, the gameplay is very captivating. It's a tight game. It certainly feels abstract, and it basically is abstract, but it is captivating. Captivating is a good word for it because you are always thinking about what you should take, what your opponents will be able to do after you've taken an action. The state of the game changes in interesting and subtle but clever ways. Very much enjoyed it. Would recommend that you check it out. That's Azul. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time.
Hey folks, welcome back to another Week in Review. I did some videos for you this week. First of all, I reviewed 12 Heroes. This is a game from Ketchup Games that is a 2-player game, and I wasn't too enamored with it simply because it didn't feel like it brought anything new to the table. It was pretty much run-of-the-mill. It had good artwork, which is the thing that originally brought me to it, but I ultimately didn't enjoy the game much at all. I gave it a 5 out of 10. Go check out my review for further details there. You might like it though, so please check out the review and see what you think. Also did a review for a micro game called Nantucket. Now this one, I'm not usually drawn to micro games because I want something that has a little bit more meat on its bones. But the nautical theme is what drew me to this one, and the worker placement. I do enjoy worker placement games, so I wanted to try it out. Ultimately, again, it was kind of in the middle of the road for me, so it got a 5 out of 10 as well. Check out the review for my further thoughts on that one. Also did a couple of Miami Dice reviews with Tom and Z. The first one was for Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. Now, this is a sequel, kind of, in the Dungeons & Dragons universe to an Avalon Hill classic, Betrayal at House on the Hill. So I really did enjoy the time that we played, but I think it was more the group that I was playing with rather than the actual game that I was enjoying. So I only gave this one a 6 out of 10, simply because I think the game's mechanics are good. If you like Betrayal at House on the Hill, you'll probably like this one too, but I think it was more the group dynamic than the actual game dynamics that I was enjoying. Also did a Miami Dice with Tom and Z for Paper Tales, another one from Ketchup Games that I liked the idea. I love card drafting. I like building my own little town and village and sending my own little army out and everything like that, but there was just some things that I didn't like. Didn't like the artwork very well, and I didn't like the gameplay so much. I just felt too restricted while I was playing the game, so gave that one a 6 out of 10 as well. Other than that, my final review for the week was Warhammer Underworld Shadespire. Now, this one, my friends, is one that you need to go check out. This is a new tactical arena combat game from Games Workshop. Has beautifully easy to put together miniatures, and man alive, I loved this game. Really enjoyed it. It's, I think, easily a shoo-in from one of my top 10 games of the year. Gave it a 9 out of 10. Warhammer Underworld's Shadespire. You need to go check this one out. And that's it from me, other than the fact that I also did a live Q&A if you want to go watch me answer questions, and you'll get to know a little bit more about me and how I think and all that kind of stuff. If that sounds interesting, check that out as well. But that's it from me. See you on the flip side.
Okay, so for me, we have Gang Up. This is a game in which you have a bunch of criminals. You're gathering together a gang and sending them out on missions. It has some nice artwork, but unfortunately it comes across as a much worse version of Munchkin, which wasn't the game I was a fan of to begin with. Just kind of messy and just not really that good of a game. Creepy Falls, I really like the concept of this game. It looks like the Monster Mash monsters, Frankenstein's mummies and stuff. That's cool, but it ends up being a worker placement. You get a bunch of resources, but it's a really boring worker placement game and a bit muddled in graphic design. It feels like a waste of the theme. Klondike Rush, my rating here is not going to be everyone's rating. This is a game from Ryan Laukat. It's very different than the other Red Raven games in that it's a stock market game, which I tend to like stock market, but this one has a lot of auctioning in it, and you need to auction off the exact right moment at any point in time. You can run out of money before the game ends, which, I don't know, I just did not find it enjoyable, but I'm sure a lot of other people will enjoy it. Medical Frontier, this is a game in which the theme is great. You're a drug company researching drugs, trying to get them out on the market, but it doesn't really come through in this game. It's too linear. I guess the theme actually works for the most part, a couple minor things, but the theme is just too linear, and the game's a little long for what it should be. Okay, but we played some good games. There's By Order of the Queen. Melody and I took a look at this one. There's a ton of luck in this game. And the decisions aren't super meaningful, but the gameplay itself is a lot of fun, and the universe that it's involved in is great, pretty cool. So we like this idea where you're rolling dice and fighting monsters, and it's like almost Adventure Time fantasy universe. Among Us, this would have been rated higher, but it's a little clunky. It's kind of like a board game version of The Resistance. This is a game in which aliens are landing, and you are trying to stop the aliens and rescue scientists, but some of you have been infected by aliens. Number 9 is a tile placement game, 1 through 9, or 0 through 9 actually, and you're placing them down. It's not really groundbreaking as you're putting these tiles down on top of each other, except that the tiles are shaped like numbers. So it's kind of, I've seen games like this before where you're placing things on top of each other. This one does look really good. Princess Jing, Melody and I took a look at this one. We think we like it more maybe if it wasn't so... The basic game is just too basic. The advanced game is okay, but it's one of those games that is enjoyable, but you wonder, is it enjoyable like the 5th or 6th time? Or the novelty of like looking through holes at mirrors and seeing things reflected? That's pretty cool. We like that concept. Then we have Snippets. Snippets is a fun little party game in which you have a card that has a few letters in it, and you write as many words that have those letters in that order. So if it has S-L-E in it, I might write sledding, for example. Or I can't even think of another word with S-L-E in it right now. But you're trying to write down as many as you can and not match other people. But anything goes. Proper nouns, countries, words in other languages. And that makes the game a lot of fun. Then we have One Night Ultimate Alien, a game I enjoyed a lot more than I thought I would. It's getting a little burned out on the one night line, but this one here adds a bunch of randomness and a bunch of silly fun. The game already is silly fun, so this does pretty well there. Wizards Want It from Mattel is a game in which wizards are going around and paying pixie ducks to do different things. You're doing different jobs for people around the land, so you move around and do actions on your turn. Based on this pixie dust currency, the game is actually a pretty strong economic one. Really good game, deeper than the cover makes it look like a kid's game, but it is most definitely a full-on medium weight Euro game. All of us took a look at Betrayal at House on the Hill, as the other two guys already said. Really like this game, and at the same time don't feel the need to play it all the time. It is a once-in-a-while game because you really get into the theme. It takes Betrayal at House on the Hill, adds Baldur's Gate to it, which I like both. I like the idea. I haven't yet found that it's broken, which was the biggest complaint leveled against Betrayal at House on the Hill. It seems pretty good so far, but it is a lot of randomness and silliness, essentially, but that can be fun. Bonk, Melly and I reviewed this one where we drop balls down these things that used to be called Roll It and try to hit this ball in the middle. It's like a old-timey version of Crossfire, but it works really well. Clans of Caledonia. This is a heavier Euro-style game in which you are expanding your clan of Caledonia. You have different clans, the McDonald clan, the McDougal clan, the McSomething clan. And you're putting these out there on the board, different pieces, and getting resources and trying to accomplish missions. You know, it sounds like every other Euro game, but there's some neat ideas to it. And one of the things I really enjoyed was each clan has a very strong power, which makes them feel different than everyone else. And my favorite game of the week, easily, Seventh Continent. Seventh Continent, a fantastic, super rich game full of just a lot of stuff going on and involved in it. Adventure, choose your own adventure type thing. I'm sure that after maybe 50, 60, 70 hours, I may have seen everything, but I don't know, I'm around 20 hours played at this point and haven't even come close, I feel, yet. So I really like that. Great storytelling game. Can't wait to see what they have coming next for this. Folks, that's Week in Review from the Dice Tower. Again, we have links down below if you want to watch the full reviews. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell, and you've been watching the Dice Tower.